So I'm not dead, in case you were wondering, but I am going to talk about something that pretty much everyone already agrees on now, because we have to avoid the controversy. So guess which political movement is now finally done defining itself? Give you a little hint. It's not post-transhumanist space wizards, though I'm really looking forward to finding out what they're all about. It's actually the alt-right, which is weird because it's been around for so long in terms of internet time that it just seems like a staple of political discussion online at this point. But if you remember, 2 years ago, fucking everyone and their mums was calling themselves alt-right because nobody really knew what the term meant. It didn't have, I mean, it had a right-wing connotation, and to many people on the left, it had a very, very bad right-wing connotation, but that was pretty much it. But now, the cake is finally settled. The wheel of racism has finished spinning, and the swastika dice have fallen. Hello, alt-right. Out of all the very many options on the right side of the political spectrum, some of which are pretty interesting, and not horrible at all, and maybe even have some good points, you chose ethno-nationalism. I mean, that is the dumbest option that you could have taken. Literally, that is the bottom of the intelligence barrel. And it's also why you've lost your rebel allure that you might have had at some point, and also why nobody likes you anymore. You could have had a lot of very interesting figureheads if you hadn't been so fucking retarded, right? I mean, Milo Yiannopoulos used to go around calling himself alt-right back in his golden days, and I mean, he's fallen from grace, but he's still a fascinating character. I mean, fuck, the president of the United States of America could have been the great figurehead of the alt-right. And no matter how much you think that Trump is hashtag your guy, he is far from an ethno-nationalist, really almost as far as you can be from being an ethno-nationalist, and he's never gonna be an ethno-nationalist. That's the thing. If he knew what you guys were actually about, he would recoil in horror. Instead, you've chosen the man behind the jacket button Holocaust. The bloke that looks like the Chinese knockoff version of a lesbian SS reject, right? Of all the people you could have had, you chose Richard fucking Spencer. An ultimately irrelevant racist. Paul Joseph Watson did it correctly when he distanced himself from you very early on. And if even a twat like Prison Paul understands that your movement is fucking cancer, it has to be a massive shit show. I mean, let's be honest here. Though I do have high hopes for PJW after his recent appearance on InfoWars proper, right? Imagine his shock that he's been working for a performance artist, method acting an insane snake oil salesman for years.
We've got breaking news here, Paul Watson, that's absolutely critical, absolutely key. I have gotten this, and no cameras, please, guys, no cameras. This is from a law enforcement source, and the information is, the news is lying. FBI HRT did the hit on the guy, and they found Antifa information in the room and photos of the woman in the Middle East. So he did not kill himself. The FBI hostage rescue team killed him because he was firing on them. So he did not want to be taken alive, and reportedly he did it. And it was Antifa crap everywhere. And other things I'm not supposed to mention. That is directly from the hostage rescue team, by the way, Paul. And I'm going to delete this information now. Keep going.
Well, obviously, that's huge. That's huge if it turns out to be true.
Yeah, hey, Paul, this is from high-level CIA, right here. Let's do it directly from, and this is from the hostage rescue team. You know I don't make sources up.
Well, let's get back to the ethno-nationalism, right? What's your plan? I mean, unless you intend to fuck off out of the US, you're not going to be very successful at creating a white ethno-state. Around a third of the American population is not white. That's like 100 million people. You're just going to go up to their homes and politely ask them to leave forever? Because somehow I don't think they're going to actually do that. Pardon? Could you speak up? I can't really hear what your real plan is, because it seems as though you're not talking about it too loudly. So I don't actually know that it's ethnic cleansing. So really, you're gonna give everyone who's not white a free train ride, is it? You think those 100 million Americans are gonna have a slight problem with your army of overweight inbred brown shirts showing up at their doorstep? And what do you think the white people are gonna do when you send their friends and ethnic family members off to the bakery? You think they might be a little bit irritated that you're trying to kill all the people they love? Because here's some you might not know. Most people don't give a shit about the race of those they associate with. All they care about is what's in their heart, right? The personal ties are much more powerful than race. The neo-Nazis will be defeated by love. That's some fucking kitsch right there. And don't give me this talk about the fucking race war, where just the races, the tensions will rise and the races will be polarized, because this bullshit dream of yours, it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's exactly the same when the communists say that when the real communism comes, people are actually going to want to share. I mean, sure, right? In the coming years, if the situation escalates, there might be some racial skirmishes. But the people taking part in those will be racists. And the vast majority of the population is not racist. You proclaim to defend Western culture and Western values, but the whole point, this massive thing in Western values, is that you can be a Westerner no matter what race you are. It's not tied to race. So long as you believe in the same things we believe in, like liberty, individual rights, equality, justice, democracy, all those things you'd have to abolish to make your dream come true. All of those Western values, if you believe in those, you're a Westerner. This is also why many people consider Japan and South Korea to be Western nations, even though they are literally at the easternmost tip of the Far East. Speaking of Japan, that is the functioning ethno-state that you always like to bring up. The Japan that is made up of 3 distinct people groups with their own cultural heritages, and the Japan that has significant Korean and Filipino immigrant populations. Just that one. But I guess they're all Asians, so it's not really much of a difference, in it. Then you have Germany, Britain, France, all of these massive economic powerhouses at the very tip of the global economy, right? Capable of wielding massive diplomatic power. Of course, they have issues, right? They're massively diverse, they have issues, but so does fucking Japan. And as it happens, the issues of Japan are fucking related, if you tiddle my diddle. So that's why, at the end of the day, you're going to fail, and history is going to laugh at you, much like history laughs at the Nazis' mental diarrhea. And then you will fade into obscurity without ever even having accomplished any atrocities. Oh, what a shame. I mean, of course, the mainstream media keeps turning the alt-right into this massive, world-consuming dragon, while it's really more of a racist gecko. But they'll get tired of it eventually. We should get all the white supremacists, and all the black supremacists, and all the Asian supremacists, and all the Native American supremacists, and we put them all on the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and then whoever wins gets to keep it. And then maybe in 50 years we'll have this super mixed race out of all the human races that is extremely fascist about their perfection, that comes at us with boats made of garbage. Or maybe one of the races wins, and we get an SS that does its armbands out of old glued together Twizzler packages. So at the end of the day, the alt-right can lick on these nuts and suck a dick. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe. More content is incoming. I'm back on the wagon, so to speak, because there was a lot of not this type of content in the past. Also, follow me on Twitter, because I'm suspecting that they have me throttled to 55 followers, and I want to check if that's actually a thing. So that's totally the only reason why I want you to follow me on Twitter. So yeah, See you around, cunts.